Find replacement panel locks or latches. Firstly, check local electrical supply houses that cater to commercial and industrial customers. They may have a selection of panel locks and latches in stock. Secondly, contact the manufacturers of the IT panel to inquire about replacement locks or latches. They may be able to provide compatible parts. Thirdly, search online retailers such as Amazon, eBay, or Grainger for IT panel locks or latches. Some vendors may offer expedited shipping options. Given the urgency of the situation, it is best to contact the State of Illinois inspector. Explain the situation and request assistance in expediting the delivery of panel locks or latches. They may have contacts within the state that can facilitate a quicker acquisition. In the interim, consider using alternative safety measures to prevent unauthorized access to the panel. This might include placing a padlock on the door or installing a temporary barrier around the panel. If possible, identify and safeguard critical circuits that require immediate attention, such as emergency lighting, fire alarms, and life safety systems. Panel locks are required by code to prevent unauthorized access to electrical equipment and protect against electrical hazards. The safety of occupants and the integrity of the electrical system depend on the timely replacement of missing or damaged panel locks or latches. The saying, "Motors run on smoke installed at the factory," highlights the importance of preventing smoke buildup in motors. Faulty breakers or overloaded circuits can cause smoke, leading to motor failure and potential fire hazards. Understanding the urgency to replace breakers that don't easily reset is critical for electrical safety. Breakers that fail to reset properly can indicate underlying issues such as overloaded circuits, short circuits, or ground faults. Continuing to use these breakers poses a risk of electrical fires and equipment damage. Replacing them promptly with new, properly rated breakers is essential for maintaining a safe electrical system. The inability to easily reset a breaker often suggests that the breaker has tripped due to an overcurrent condition. This overcurrent can be caused by several factors, including an overloaded circuit, a short circuit, or a ground fault. An overloaded circuit occurs when too many devices are drawing power from a single circuit, exceeding its capacity. A short circuit is an unintended low-resistance connection between 2 points in a circuit, resulting in a high current flow. A ground fault is an unintended connection between a current-carrying conductor and a grounded surface. When a breaker trips due to any of these conditions, it is designed to interrupt the flow of electricity to prevent damage to the wiring and equipment. Attempting to reset a breaker that continues to trip without addressing the underlying issue can be dangerous. If the overcurrent condition persists, the breaker may trip again immediately, or it may eventually fail completely, potentially leading to overheating and a fire. Furthermore, repeatedly resetting a breaker could weaken its internal mechanisms, making it less reliable in the future. When a breaker is difficult to reset, it is a sign that it may be damaged or worn out. The internal components of a breaker can degrade over time due to repeated use and exposure to heat. This can cause the breaker to become sluggish or unresponsive, making it difficult to reset. In such cases, replacing the breaker is the best course of action to ensure reliable protection against overcurrents. When replacing breakers, it is crucial to select the correct type and rating for the circuit. Using a breaker with the wrong amperage rating can be dangerous. A breaker with a lower amperage rating than required may trip too easily, causing nuisance tripping. A breaker with a higher amperage rating than required may not trip when it should, allowing the circuit to become overloaded and potentially leading to a fire. It is also important to ensure that the new breakers are compatible with the existing panel. Different manufacturers use different designs, and breakers are not always interchangeable. Using an incompatible breaker can damage the panel and create a safety hazard. When replacing breakers in an older panel, it is also a good idea to inspect the wiring and connections for any signs of damage or deterioration. Over time, wiring can become brittle and cracked, and connections can become loose or corroded. These issues can increase the risk of electrical problems and should be addressed promptly. In addition to replacing the breakers, it is also important to properly label the circuits in the panel. Clear and accurate labeling makes it easier to identify and troubleshoot electrical problems in the future. If the existing labels are outdated or incorrect, they should be updated to reflect the current configuration of the circuits. When working on electrical panels, it is essential to follow all safety precautions. Always turn off the power to the panel before starting any work. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working on electrical equipment, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. The absence of locks or latches on electrical panels poses a significant safety hazard. These locks are designed to prevent unauthorized access to the electrical equipment, protecting individuals from accidental contact with live wires and preventing tampering with the system. In locations such as churches that now house daycare centers, the presence of children increases the importance of securing electrical panels. Children are naturally curious and may not understand the dangers of electricity. Without locks or latches, they could easily open the panels and come into contact with live wires, resulting in serious injury or death. Furthermore, unauthorized access to electrical panels can lead to tampering with the system. This could involve changing breaker settings, disconnecting wires, or adding new circuits without proper authorization. Such tampering can create dangerous conditions, such as overloaded circuits, short circuits, and ground faults, increasing the risk of electrical fires and equipment damage. Panel locks also serve as a deterrent to vandalism and theft. Electrical panels contain valuable components such as breakers, wiring, and meters which could be stolen or damaged. By securing the panels with locks, property owners can reduce the risk of these types of incidents. The National Electrical Code, NEC, requires that electrical panels be accessible only to qualified personnel. This requirement is intended to prevent unqualified individuals from tampering with the electrical system and creating hazardous conditions. Panel locks are one way to comply with this requirement. In addition to preventing unauthorized access, panel locks also help to ensure that only qualified personnel perform maintenance and repairs on the electrical system. The electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by individuals who have the proper training and experience. By restricting access to the panels, property owners can help to prevent unqualified individuals from attempting to perform electrical work, reducing the risk of accidents and injuries. When selecting panel locks, it is important to choose a type that is appropriate for the panel and the environment. There are several different types of panel locks available, including keyed locks, combination locks, and latching mechanisms. Keyed locks provide a high level of security but require the use of a key to open the panel. Combination locks offer a keyless option but may be less secure than keyed locks. Latching mechanisms are simple and easy to use but may not provide as much security as locks. The choice of panel lock will depend on the specific needs and preferences of the property owner. In addition to selecting the right type of lock, it is also important to install it properly. Panel locks should be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and should be regularly inspected to ensure that they are functioning properly. Damaged or malfunctioning locks should be replaced promptly to maintain the security of the electrical panels. When replacing missing or damaged panel locks, it is important to consider the age and type of the electrical panel. Older panels may have different locking mechanisms than newer panels, and it may be necessary to find replacement parts that are compatible with the existing panel. Contacting the manufacturer of the panel or a qualified electrician can help to identify the correct replacement parts. In cases where replacement locks are not readily available, temporary measures may be necessary to secure the panels. These measures could include using padlocks or other types of locking devices to prevent unauthorized access. However, temporary measures should only be used as a short-term solution, and permanent replacement locks should be installed as soon as possible. Securing electrical panels is an essential part of maintaining a safe and reliable electrical system. By preventing unauthorized access, panel locks help to protect individuals from electrical hazards, prevent tampering with the system, and reduce the risk of vandalism and theft. Property owners should regularly inspect their electrical panels to ensure that the locks are in good condition and functioning properly. Missing or damaged locks should be replaced promptly to maintain the security of the panels and the safety of the occupants. In addition to addressing the immediate issue of the missing panel locks, it is also important to conduct a thorough inspection of the entire electrical system. This inspection should include checking the wiring, connections, breakers, and other components for any signs of damage or deterioration. Any problems that are identified should be addressed promptly to prevent future electrical issues. The age of the building, 34 years, suggests that the electrical system may be nearing the end of its useful life. Over time, electrical components can degrade due to exposure to heat, moisture, and other environmental factors. This degradation can increase the risk of electrical problems such as shorts, grounds, and fires. A thorough inspection can help to identify these issues before they become serious problems. The fact that the building is a church that now houses a daycare center also has implications for the electrical system. Daycare centers have different electrical needs than churches. Daycare centers typically have more electrical equipment, such as computers, televisions, and appliances, which can increase the load on the electrical system. It is important to ensure that the electrical system is adequate to handle the increased load. The presence of children in the daycare center also increases the importance of electrical safety. Children are more vulnerable to electrical shock than adults, and they may not understand the dangers of electricity. It is important to take extra precautions to protect children from electrical hazards. This could include installing ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs, in areas where children are likely to be present, such as bathrooms and kitchens. It could also include covering electrical outlets with safety caps and keeping electrical cords out of reach of children. The fact that there has been a lot of DIY work in the building is also a concern. DIY electrical work is often not done properly and can create dangerous conditions. It is important to inspect any DIY electrical work to ensure that it meets code requirements and is safe. If any problems are found, they should be corrected by a qualified electrician. The state of Illinois is anxious for the electrical issues to be addressed quickly. This underscores the importance of taking prompt action to correct any electrical problems that are identified. Ignoring electrical problems can lead to serious consequences, such as fires, injuries, and even death. By taking prompt action to address these problems, property owners can protect the safety of the occupants and prevent future electrical issues. When addressing electrical problems, it is important to work with qualified professionals. A qualified electrician has the training, experience, and equipment to safely and effectively diagnose and repair electrical problems. Attempting to do electrical work yourself can be dangerous and may violate local codes. In addition to hiring a qualified electrician, it is also important to obtain the necessary permits for any electrical work that is performed. Permits ensure that the work is done in accordance with local codes and that it is inspected by a qualified inspector. Obtaining permits can help to prevent future electrical problems and ensure the safety of the occupants. The concept of motors running on smoke installed at the factory is a humorous way of emphasizing the importance of preventing smoke buildup in motors. Smoke is a byproduct of combustion and can indicate that a motor is overheating or experiencing other problems. Overheating can damage the motor windings and other components, leading to premature failure. Preventing smoke buildup in motors is essential for maintaining their reliability and extending their lifespan. There are several factors that can contribute to smoke buildup in motors, including overloaded circuits, faulty breakers, and inadequate ventilation. Overloaded circuits can cause the motor to draw too much current, leading to overheating. Faulty breakers may not trip when they should, allowing the motor to overheat. Inadequate ventilation can prevent the motor from dissipating heat properly, leading to overheating. To prevent smoke buildup in motors, it is important to ensure that the circuits are not overloaded, that the breakers are functioning properly, and that the motor has adequate ventilation. It is also important to regularly inspect the motor for any signs of overheating or other problems. If any problems are found, they should be addressed promptly to prevent further damage. In addition to preventing smoke buildup, it is also important to protect motors from other environmental factors, such as moisture, dust, and vibration. Moisture can corrode the motor windings and other components, leading to premature failure. Dust can clog the motor vents and prevent it from dissipating heat properly. Vibration can damage the motor bearings and other components. To protect motors from these environmental factors, it is important to keep them clean, dry, and properly lubricated. It is also important to mount the motors on vibration isolating pads to reduce the amount of vibration that they experience. By taking these precautions, property owners can extend the lifespan of their motors and prevent costly repairs. Maintaining a safe and reliable electrical system requires a proactive approach. This includes regularly inspecting the system, addressing any problems promptly, and working with qualified professionals. By taking these steps, property owners can protect the safety of the occupants and prevent future electrical issues. The electrical panel should be properly labeled with clear and accurate circuit directory. This label needs to indicate what each breaker protects. The lack of clear labeling can lead to confusion and potential hazards during maintenance or emergencies. To create an accurate circuit directory, systematically identify each circuit and its corresponding load. Use a circuit tracer to help determine which outlets, lights, or appliances are connected to each breaker. Update the panel directory with a detailed description of each circuit's function and location. For example, label circuits as kitchen receptacles, living room lighting, or HVAC system. Make sure the labeling is legible and durable, using a permanent marker or label maker. Outdated room numbers on the panel indicate that the electrical system may have been modified or expanded without proper documentation. The original circuit directory may no longer reflect the current configuration of the circuits. To address this issue, update the panel directory to match the current layout and function of the building. If necessary, consult with a qualified electrician to verify the accuracy of the circuit identifications. The condition of the breakers in the electrical panel is also a critical factor in ensuring safety. Breakers that are difficult to reset or that trip frequently may be faulty and require replacement. Faulty breakers can fail to protect circuits from overloads or short circuits, increasing the risk of electrical fires. To assess the condition of the breakers, perform a visual inspection to check for signs of damage, such as cracks, discoloration, or corrosion. Test the breakers by manually tripping them and then resetting them. If a breaker is difficult to reset or fails to trip, it should be replaced immediately. When replacing breakers, use only the correct type and rating for the panel. Consult the panel manufacturer's specifications or a qualified electrician to ensure proper selection. It is also important to ensure that the breakers are properly seated and connected to the bus bars in the panel. In addition to addressing the immediate safety concerns, it is important to develop a long-term electrical maintenance plan for the building. This plan should include regular inspections, testing, and maintenance of all electrical components, including the panel, wiring, outlets, and lighting fixtures. Regular maintenance can help to identify and correct potential problems before they become serious hazards. The maintenance plan should also include procedures for documenting any electrical work that is performed, including repairs, modifications, and upgrades. This documentation can be used to track the history of the electrical system and to ensure that all work is done in accordance with applicable codes and standards. The maintenance plan should be reviewed and updated periodically to reflect any changes in the building's electrical needs or the applicable codes and standards. The plan should be implemented by qualified personnel who have the training and experience to safely and effectively perform electrical work.